Good day. Welcome to another episode of our medical surgical series. And our hematologic nursing concept for this day is polycythemia vera or PV. Okay. What is polycythemia vera? Polycythemia vera is a proliferative disorder affecting our myeloid stem cells, such that by reason of this proliferative disorder, there seems to be an elevated number of our red blood cells, WBCs, as well as our platelets. So, ang naay problema dire class is the myeloid stem cell, which has a proliferative disorder causing these blood components to increase. While it is true nga mosaka ang imuhang RBC, imong WBC ug ang imong platelet, among the three components, ang naagyoy predominant elevation is your red blood cell. So, ang pinakadakong problema is the increasing number of erythrocytes in the blood vessels. By reason of the elevation of these blood components class, our hematocrit reaches as high as 60%. Pila man di ang atong normal? Our normal is 36 to 46%. Okay? Pero ang nahitabo sa naay polycythemia vera, ang hematocrit has reached as high as 60%. So this is one way to diagnose our polycythemia vera. Ato lang ng tanawon ang iyahang hematocrit. Normally, 36 to 46%, pero sa tao nga na polycythemia vera, hematocrit reaches as high as 60%. Now, unsa man day ng hematocrit, sir? Okay. Look at this class. Let's say na ay pasyente kuhaan nimo og dugo and then ang dugo ibutang nimo siya sa test tube. After placing it on a test tube, ibutang nato siya centrifuge machine. Kana bitang mutuyok nga makina nga paspas kaayo. So ang mahitabo while it turns, the speed, no? The high speed turn of this test tube will cause the formed elements to settle at the bottom. Okay. Consider class that this is your test tube and the test tube is filled with blood. The whole thing here is a total of 100%. Okay, supposing this is test tube number 1 and this is test tube number 2. Now, focus your attention on test tube number 1. Test tube number 1 is 100% volume. Okay? Unsa man ang hematocrit? Hematocrit is the number of percent of the formed elements. So in this case, ang imong formed element is kani. So pila man ni siya? This is around 36%. Okay? 36 or 35%. This is the normal hematocrit. Okay? This is the normal hematocrit. Meaning, sa 100%, ang imuhang amount of formed elements is only around 36%. Pero, in cases nga musaka ang imuhang red blood cells, musaka ang imong WBCs, musaka ang imong platelet, unsa may mahitabo, kung mudaghan na, then mudaghan pod ang imuhang formed elements. Look at test tube number 2. Tanawa, naabot na ka sa 60%. Of the total 100% nga dugo sulod sa test tube, pila man ang imong formed elements? 60% of which are formed elements. And this confirms a condition called polycythemia vera. Okay? Polycythemia vera is an extremely rare condition such that sa kada 100,000 katao, only 2 will have to have polycythemia vera. And the median age affected by polycythemia vera is at the age of 65 years old. What distinguishes polycythemia from polycythemia vera? Lahi-lahi na klas ha. Lahi ang polycythemia, lahi ang polycythemia vera. Because when you say polycythemia, ang nidaghan anak klas is only the red blood cell. But when you say polycythemia vera, ang nidaghan anak klas is your red blood cell, WBCs, as well as your platelet. So red blood cells are to polycythemia, period. While polycythemia vera is to RBCs, WBCs, and platelet. Unsa may nahitabo din ha class, polycythemia such that there is an increase in the red blood cell is attributable to problems in oxygenation, or the person might have had been exposed to high altitudes, or naabaron siya tumor causing increased secretion of erythropoietin or an erythropoietin secreting tumor o kana. So these conditions class could lead to an increase in the number of red blood cells. But that is not polycythemia vera. Because ang polycythemia vera is caused by a neoplasm causing a proliferative disorder in the myeloid stem cells. Okay? For us to understand that, class, let's try kuno to have a quick review on the hematopoietic system. Okay. Where does the hematopoietic system lie? It lies inside our bone marrows. So it is at the bone marrow where blood cells are actually formed. And when we speak of the hematopoietic system, there are two general branches. Unsa man ang duha ka general branches of the hematopoietic system? One, you have the myeloid stem cell. Two, you have the lymphoid stem cells. Okay. When we speak of myeloid stem cells, class, this is the part of the hematopoietic system that is responsible for the formation of red blood cells. Two, WBCs. And three, you have your platelets. The myeloid stem cells produce around 4.5 to 6 million cells. Okay? Red blood cells, 4.5 to 6 million red blood cells. The WBCs are around 5,000 to 10,000 blood cells. While your platelet is around 150 to 450,000 blood cells. So all of these class are formed by the myeloid stem cells, RBCs, WBCs, and your platelet. On the other hand, ang imong lymphoid is responsible for the formation of, number one, you have the B cells. Okay? Two, you have the T cells. And three, you have the natural killer cells. Okay? So the lymphoid stem cells gives rise to those that plays an important role in our immune system. These are the B cells, the T cells, and the natural killer cells. They are called B cells, class, because they are formed at the bone marrow. Mo ng letter B siya. And your T cells are formed at the thymus. Okay? So unsa may function sa imuhang B cells? Our B cells, class, are responsible for the formation of antibodies or immunoglobulins. Okay? So the B cells are the ones who are responsible for the formation of the weapons that we use to fight against infection. So they form weapons, and these weapons come in the form of antibodies. So for example, no, na dengue ka, okay? Pila man ka strains ang dengue? Upat ka strains ang dengue. So kung na-dengue ka one time, you will never be having dengue again caused by one of the strain to which you had been exposed to already. Nga naman, kung ma-expose ko kag dengue, for example, or any kagaw, our body will form antibodies against that kagaw such that the next time musulod ng kagaw sa tua, di na ta masakit ana. Mabitaw na nganong dili ta mahangga the second time. Because once you have the hangga the first time, we form antibodies against it such that any other hangga that comes to us the next time, kay balo na taon sa una pagpatay. Kay usa ra man ka klase ang hangga. Okay? Sir, nga naman lagi sir kung na-flu ko, magsige pa lagi balik-balik ang flu or maka-flu ko kaupat kalima sulod sa usa ka tuig. Yes, because there are thousands of strains of flu virus. So kung nasakit na ka by flu virus number 1, for example, for the rest of your life, you will never be sakit again of flu virus number 1. Ang problema, libo-libo ka klase ang flu virus. That's why we get flu virus several times in a lifetime. Okay? But the purpose of the antibodies is that the next time our body gets infected again, we know how to kill it already. Okay? So our antibodies, no, by analogy, consider that as our weapons that we use to fight against infection. How about your T cells? The T cells again are called T cells because they are formed at the thymus. And when we speak of thymus, class, when we speak of thymus, there are different kinds of, when we speak of T cells, there are different kinds of T cells in the body. Okay. Natay gitawag og helper T cells, natay gitawag og natay gitawag og cytotoxic T cells, and apo tay gitawag og regulatory T cells. Unsa to? We have the helper we have the cytotoxic, and last, you have your regulatory T cells. So each of these class has different functions, no? Consider the helper T cells as your commander. Okay? As the commander, they do not participate good in the killing of bacteria or of cancer cells in the body, but rather they give commands, they give orders, and they are the ones responsible for activating the antibodies produced by the B cells. So si helper T cells ang mukol upon the antibodies, uy, antibodies, ari ragod mo, kay naatay patyunon. So siya ang commander. That's the role of the helper T cells. It is the ones responsible for telling the body who to kill. So that's the role of the helper T cells. And as it identifies who to kill, it calls or it activates the antibodies in the body. Okay? So helper T cells are the commander. It activates the antibodies. Diin gikan ng antibodies, gikan sa B cells. How about the cytotoxic T cells? The cytotoxic T cells are called the attackers. Sila gid na mismo ang participate sa actual killing of number one, infected cells, and number two, cancer cells. So it is the cytotoxic T cells that directly participates in the destruction of infected cells and of your cancer cells. How about your regulatory T cells? They are our peacekeepers. Okay? They restore order. Meaning to say, it is the regulatory T cells that will announce that the mission has been accomplished, that the kalaban has already been killed, and it's time to return to the status quo, or it's time to return to the condition where we were before. So kaning regulatory T cells are the peacekeepers. They are the ones who are responsible to to ensure that our immune system will not be overacting. So moingon si regulatory T cells, enough is enough. Okay? And finally, class, the third classification of your lymphoid cells are the natural killer cells. And the natural killer cells are killers by nature. Meaning to say, they are ready to be deployed anytime without the need of prior training, without the need of prior experience, because by their very nature, they are killers. Okay? They are killers of infected cells and of cancer cells. Think of the natural killer cells as your emergency response team or the rapid response team. Because the moment they feel and they see nga kani siya kagaw ni siya, dili ni siya normal, foreign ni siya, then the natural killer cells by their very nature goes to that site and destroys the cell. So these are the two classifications or divisions of the hematopoietic system of the bone marrow. But the problem lies in polycythemia, not on both of these divisions, but exclusively on the divisions of the myeloid stem cells. Nga naman, class, unsa may nahitabo sa atuang myeloid stem cells? Our myeloid stem cells must have undergone proliferative neoplasm or a proliferative disorder caused by some genetics or autoimmune condition. As a result, there is a hyperactivity in our myeloid stem cells. Grabe ra iyahang trabaho. Walay hunong-hunong nga pagtrabaho sa myeloid stem cells such that our red blood cell increases, our WBC increases, and our platelet increases. So polycythemia vera is a condition where our myeloid stem cells are hyperactive, causing an increase in the number of red blood cells, WBCs, and platelets. And when these blood elements are elevated, what happens to our hematocrit? It likewise increases to a minimum of 60%. To understand that, class, let's look into the pathophysiology of polycythemia vera. When we speak of polycythemia vera, class, we could attribute this to a genetic disorder. Okay? It has a genetic tendency, or sometimes it has an autoimmune cause. Okay? Supposedly, atong immune system protects us. But this time, it is our immune system that gives problem to the body. We call that as an autoimmune condition. So ang polycythemia vera runs in families. That's one. Or polycythemia vera may not be from the family, but rather a case of an autoimmune condition. So when genetics or an autoimmune cause arise in a single person, there happens to be what we call as JAK2 mutation. Unsa man ang JAK2 mutation? Class, think of the bone marrow having a switch. Kanang switch sa bone marrow, mauna si JAK2 ang tawag. Meaning, inig-on ni JAK2 sa imong bone marrow, ang bone marrow mo trabaho, muhimo og blood cell. And this will only happen every time there is a decrease in the number. Example, napo kabuk imong red blood cell. Unya, namatay man ang duha. So, muon ang imong JAK2, muon ang imong switch so that the bone marrow will produce 2 para mabalik ang iyang pagkanapo. Ingon ana ang trabaho sa JAK2. Okay? The JAK2 is like a switch. It is on when there is a need to produce blood cells, and it is off when there is no need to produce blood cells. Ang problema, tungod sa genes or tungod sa autoimmune condition, ni mutate ang imuhang JAK2, na destroy ang imuhang JAK2. So ang imong switch imbis on off, magsigi na lang siya og on. Unsa may tawag na to ana? It's a myeloid proliferative neoplasm. Okay? So when the JAK2 mutates or when the JAK2 is destroyed, imbis on off ang imong switch sa bone marrow, pirmi na lang siyang on. As a result, there becomes a myeloid proliferative neoplasm. Nagsigi og himo ang imong myeloid. Unya tan-awa to class. Unsa may ginahimo sa myeloid? Di ba ang myeloid may mohimog red blood cell WBC platelet? O sige. Kung si myeloid ang mohimog red blood cell WBC o platelet, tanawa ni. When there is a proliferation of the myeloid stem cells, unsa may resulta? Then you will have elevated levels of red blood cells, WBCs, and platelets. Okay? So, the increased number of red blood cells, WBCs, and platelet to a patient with polycythemia vera is tungod kay hyperactive ang imong myeloid due to a proliferative neoplasm. And that happens because the JAK2 is destroyed. The JAK2 has mutated by reason of 1. Genetics, 2. Autoimmune. Either way. Ang problema manggod anihang imong gitawag og polycythemia vera, naa diri sa increased red blood cells, WBCs, and platelets. It is not difficult to understand nganong problema kung daghan kaayo ka og mga red blood cells, WBCs, and platelets. Look at this class. Okay? Think of the blood vessel as the kalsada. And on the kalsada are daghan kaayong sakyanan. Okay? Normally, ang factory muhimo ra siya og sakyanan kung naay order. Okay? Unya karon kay nabuang man ang factory, nagkasalimuang man ang factory, or nagkadiferensya man ang factory. Imbis mohimo ra siya kung naay order, nagsige naman lang hinuon siya order, nagsige naman lang hinuon siya himo og mga sakyanan. So as it keeps on producing more and more red cars, then the streets had now been filled with so much red cars. That's why nagkahuot ang imuhang ugat. That's why nagsige na sila, pwede na sila magkabangga-bangga. And when you look at it from afar, it appears to be red or ruddy. Okay. So that is what happens in polycythemia vera. Kung ang kalsada or ang blood vessel na puno sa dugo or daghan kaayong sakyanan, magkahuot ang imuhang kalsada. Pwede sila magkabangga-bangga, and that condition, when it happens in the blood vessel, is a case of thrombus formation. And the most common cause of death is the thrombus formation from the high viscosity levels or from the thickness of the blood in the blood vessels. Okay, so now, remember, class, that in polycythemia vera, our problem is there seems to be an increased levels of red blood cells, WBCs, and platelets. Again, nganong daghan kag mga blood components kay naa kay myeloid proliferative neoplasm. And this happens because of a JAK2 mutation following a one, genetics, or two, an autoimmune condition. Okay, let's talk about the effects of the increased levels of blood cells. Number one, the first symptom or manifestation in which actually happens no to our patients with polycythemia vera is that they appear to be ruddy, or we say flushed appearance. Puwa kaayo ang iyahang panit, puwa kaayo ang iyahang naw. This ruddy color or flushed appearance is the result of excessive red blood cell that flows into the skin. Okay? Too much red blood cells or too much blood flows into the skin, and that's the reason why it appears to have a flushed appearance. And this flushed appearance usually appears in the face, in the hands, and in the mucous membrane. And mind you, class, being ruddy and the flushed appearance is the most visible sign of the disease. Look at our analogy. Okay? When this happens, when you look at the streets from afar, sakay kag aeroplano for example, and you look down, okay? As you look down, you would see how it appears. It appears to be red because there is so much blood flowing through the skin. That's why a person with polycythemia vera will have to have a ruddy or a flushed appearance. Number two, kung sobra kadaghan ang imuhang blood elements, you could have a problem of an increased uric acid. Sir, nganong mudaghan man ang akong uric acid? Because class, as there are more and more cells being produced, ultimately maabot man gid na ang ilahang lifespan nga mamatay gid na sila. For example, red blood cells would die every 120 days. Okay? And your platelets would die every 1 week. So ultimately, ang blood cells, mga matay gina sila. So kung mas daghan ang imuhang dugo, later on, daghan pud silang mga matay. And what happens when red blood cells die? Or when blood cells die, like platelets, like red blood cells? If this is your blood cell, inside the blood cell is what we call as uric acid. Okay? As the blood cells die, they release purines. Okay? And these purines are converted to become uric acid. And where are these uric acid? They are dissolved in the blood. Okay? They are dissolved in the blood. So with more and more blood cells, ultimately, these many blood cells would die, and every time it dies, it releases purines that are converted into uric acid that are dissolved in the blood. And when this uric acid is accumulated in the blood, kay maybe di katig inom og tubig, then tendencies are they get deposited in the joints, causing our gouty arthritis, or they get deposited in the kidneys that when they clump, they become stones in the kidney. Okay? So one problem, class, is whenever there is an elevated level of blood cells in the body, as these blood cells die, they break, release the purines, and are converted into uric acid and gets dissolved in the blood. With so much uric acid in the blood, they could accumulate in the joints, causing our gouty arthritis, or they may accumulate in the kidneys, causing kidney stones. Okay? So looking at our analogy, okay, daghan man jud kay ng sakyanan, class. So with more and more sakyanan, ultimately mga guba magid pud ng mga sakyanan. So daghan kaayo kag mga junk. Unsa man ang mga junk? These are purines. And purines are converted into uric acid that are dissolved in the blood. So when it is deposited in the joints, mahimo siyang gout, or when it is deposited in the kidneys, mahimo sad siyang kidney stones. Okay? So next, another manifestation of the increased levels of blood cells in the body are what we call as the increased total blood volume. Natural. Mudaghan gyud ng imong dugo because the total blood volume is simply the product of the blood cells plus your plasma. Unsa may nahitabo nato diri? Nidaghan ba ang atong plasma? Dili. It is not the plasma that is increasing, but rather these are our blood cells that are increasing. So kung modaghan ang imong blood cells unya normal ra ang imong plasma, ang resulta the total blood volume increases. And when the total blood volume increases, unsa may epekto ana, mo increase pod ang atong blood pressure. Okay? With more blood, the higher the BP. So musaka pod ang imuhang blood pressure. And when the blood pressure is increased, that could cause problems in the way our blood flows in the blood vessel. Looking at our analogy, tanawa ni class, it will take so much effort for every car to move. Maupod na. Kung taas kayo ang pressure, huot kayo ka dito sa imuhang ugat, it will take so much effort for the blood to move. Parehara yun, oh. Kung daghan kag sakyanan sa kalsada, lisod kayo paglihok ana, it will take so much effort nga mudagan ang imong sakyanan kay traffic kayo. Og sulod sa dugo, kung huot kaayo ka, it will take so much effort for you to move. Nganong nisaka man ang pressure, nganong nihuot man kag pag-ayo din ha, tungod kay nagkadaghan ang total blood volume. Nganong nidaghan man ang total blood volume, kay nidaghan man ang imuhang blood cells. Another effect class, number 4, is your infiltration. Because of so much blood will flow likewise to the liver and to the spleen. Okay. As a result of this infiltration, our liver and spleen enlarges. So natay hepatomegaly, naapod tay splenomegaly. Nganong mudako man ang atay sa tao nga naay polycythemia vera? Because class by its nature, ang kanang atay loves blood. It collects blood. Because there's so much blood, the liver collects more and more blood. And as it holds more and more blood, it gets infiltrated with this blood. Ang resulta, the liver enlarges. What do we call that? Hepatomegaly. How about the spleen? Why does the spleen enlarge? Because the spleen is the graveyard of any worn out or dead cells. Mo na minteryo sa mga patay o guba ng mga cells. So in an attempt of the spleen to get rid of the excess red blood cells, it holds so much of these dead red blood cells. Sige siya kupot in order to get rid of the excess red blood cells, causing it to enlarge. So ang atay ni dako kay daw man siya dugo. Ang spleen ni dako kay gisige man siya attempt to get rid of the excess red blood cells. That's why the spleen enlarges or you have a splenomegaly. And number 5, when there's so much blood cells, you have the risk to form a thrombus. And as I have said, it is on this thrombus formation that the cause of death usually arise. Nganong magka-thrombus man na class? Because of the increased blood viscosity, because of the increased thickness of the blood. Tanawa gud ni. Unsa may nahitabo? Puno kaayo. Okay? So ang tendency nga magbangga sila class is the thrombus formation. Okay? Because of the thickness of the blood, tungod sa kadaghan sa imuhang mga sakyanan, they have the tendency to bump against each other, causing a thrombus to form. And kay balo man gyud mo class that when a thrombus is formed, it may always be dislodged. Naagid na ang risk nga matangtang ang imong thrombus such that it becomes an embolus. And when an embolus occludes a flow to the brain, you develop stroke. And when an embolus occludes a flow to the heart, you have an MI. And when a thrombus occludes the flow to the peripheral blood vessels, you have a deep vein thrombosis. And when a thrombus occludes, when an embolus occludes the flow to the lungs, you will have a pulmonary embolism. So after all, we do not want thrombus to form. So these are the effects class of our patient having increased levels of red blood cells, WBCs, and platelets. Let's summarize that class before we get into the management. Okay? Unsay nahitabo sa polycythemia vera, our myeloid stem cells becomes hyperactive or has become has been producing so much of our red blood cells. Nganong nahitabo man na, sir? Because naturally, on off ra gyud na ang switch sa bone marrow. Muhimo ka kung makuwang ka. Pero unsa may nahitabo na ay JAK2 mutation. With JAK2 mutation, the switch is always on. The production is always on. Himo kay himo na lang ka og red blood cell. Nganong naguba man pud ng JAK2, sir? Nganong na-destroy or ni-mutate man ang imong JAK2? Number one, genetics. Number two, autoimmune. So, mo nang pirting daghanan ni mong mga blood cells. Ang resulta, number one, ruddy or flushed appearance in the skin. Number two, there's elevated levels of uric acid in the body. Nganong mo daghan man imong uric acid? Kay daghan man kag dugo. And ultimately, ang dugo mamatay man gyud na. 120 days for red blood cells, 1 week for your platelets. So inikamatay nila, unsa may ma-release nila? They release purines. And these purines are converted into uric acid. And asa man ang uric acid? They are dissolved in the blood. And when there's too much uric acid in the blood, it may accumulate in the joints, causing gouty arthritis, or they may accumulate in the kidneys, causing kidney stones. Okay? Nephrolithiasis. Okay? Number three, there's an increase in the total blood volume. Nganong mudaghan man ang imong dugo? Because dugo is comprised of plasma and blood cells. Kung daghan kag blood cells, natural, musaka pod ang imong total blood volume. And when the total blood volume increases, the blood pressure increases. Okay? Unya, tungod sa kataas sa imong pressure, that's why the patient will have to manifest consistent headache. Mao na magsigig labad ang iyahang ulo. Okay? There will be headache. There will be dizziness. Okay? There will also be blurring of vision or visual problems. Mo blur ang imuhang vision. O mo na epekto sa taas kayo blood pressure. Okay? Because it will take so much effort for the blood to move around because they have been squeezed and compressed by super high pressure in the blood vessels. When there's infiltration of blood into the organs, specifically the liver, there is hepatomegaly. And when there's infiltration of blood into the spleen, there is splenomegaly. And finally, the cause of death is from a dislodged thrombus. You call that class as an embolus. Okay? Now, how do we manage this after all? Dali raman na class. Ang imong tanawon is the symptom, no? What medication do we give to our patients depend on the symptoms, okay? Let's take the case, for example, of increase in uric acid. When there is an increase in uric acid, you can give two classes of medications. One, you can give allopurinol, okay? Allopurinol, or you can give colchicine, okay? Or actually, you can give aspirin. Okay? So, pwede ka maghatag og allopurinol, pwede ka maghatag og colchicine, pwede sa ka maghatag og aspirin. Because aspirin is an analgesic, no? It relieves pain from analgesic. It relieves pain from the gouty arthritis. Okay? So, medications we give to address problems in the increase in uric acid could be allopurinol. Okay. Unsa man ang allopurinol? Allopurinol prevents the conversion of purines into uric acid. So, allopurinol, it makes low purine. Okay? It blocks the purine to become a uric acid. So, it lowers the purine levels in the body. It lowers the uric acid in the body. Therefore, allopurinol. Okay? Next, you also have colchicine. Your colchicine is given to reduce the inflammatory reaction to the uric acid crystals formed in the body. It reduces the inflammation from or as a result of the uric acid crystals. So, mo na colchicine. And your aspirin again, it's given as an analgesic to relieve the pain in patients with gouty arthritis. Okay? So, there are medications for increased uric acid. How about for your blood pressure? What could you give to patients with elevated blood pressure? Well, the drug of choice in this case class is hydralazine. What is hydralazine for? Hydralazine is a vasodilator. So kung there's so much pressure inside the blood vessel that the blood are being squeezed, it makes it difficult for the blood to move around. So unsa may atong mabuhat? We give hydralazine or vasodilators in order to make the blood vessel a little more luag so that the blood could freely move around as against one who is so compressed with a very high pressure. Okay? So at least mulag-luag kay mubuka man ang imuhang ugat. Okay, murag nag-widening na lang ta at least sa atong kalsada kung daghan man jud kaayong truck nga naa diha. So hydralazine is the drug of choice. Okay? How about your thrombus formation? What medication could we give to relieve the thrombus formation? So we give aspirin. Okay? So these are the different medications class that we expect to be given to a patient with polycythemia vera. But other than this class, let's look into what we could do tracing back on the pathophysiology. Sige. Unsa ganito yung nahitabo, di ba, naa kay genetics. Okay? Or naa kay autoimmune condition. As a result, there's a JAK2 mutation. And what is the effect of JAK2 mutation? There seems to be a myeloid proliferative neoplasm. As a result, mudaghan ang imuhang red blood cells, WBCs, and your platelets. Okay. So looking at this pathophysio, mora man atong pathophysio, very basic naman ang atong pathophysiology. So what do we do? In order to stop, no, to stop the myeloid proliferative neoplasm, the rapid cell division in the area. Okay? The rapid or the proliferation of myeloid stem cells. Paspas ra kuno kaayo ang development. So what medication could we give? We give hydroxyurea. Unsa na siyang hydroxyurea? It suppresses the bone marrow. It stops the rapid cell division to form brand new red blood cells at the myeloid stem cells. So hydroxyurea is a chemotherapeutic drug. It stops the rapid cell division. Okay? And how about the increased red blood cells, WBCs, and platelet? We do phlebotomy. Unsa man ang phlebotomy? Magkuha ta og dugo. Okay? We do phlebotomy or magkuha ta og dugo sa tuang pasyente. Mura tag nagpa-CBC. Pero as we do phlebotomy, we need to do this up to 500 ml per session 1 to 2 times a week. Okay? So, the goal, magod class, in a patient with polycythemia vera is to at least ma-reduce na to ang iyahang high blood mass. Maminusa na to ang kadaghanon sa iyahang dugo. So, unsa may atong buhaton? Suyupa na lang na to og dugo. Mag-remove na lang ta og blood. Pila may atong kuhaon? 500 ml ang atong kuhaon 1 to 2 times a week to the end nga ang atong hematocrit at least mahimong 45%. Okay? So ang atong kuhaon is dugo 500 ml 1 to 2 times weekly to achieve a goal of a hematocrit of 45%. Okay? So there you have it. Hydroxyurea, phlebotomy. How else? What are some other nursing management that we could do? What are some other nursing management that we could do in order to help a patient with polycythemia vera? Number one, encourage oral fluids or increase oral fluids. Nganong kinahanglan man i-increase na tong oral fluids class? In order to reduce the blood viscosity. Okay? Para ma-expand na to ang environment from which this blood could freely move around. Okay? So kung imong tan-awon ang imuhang kani sa sige na mag-increase oral fluids, we can at least increase the plasma volume to give more space for these red blood cells, platelets, and WBCs to move around. So encourage oral fluids. What else? Advise your patients to avoid high altitudes. Ayaw na napasaka o og bukid kay musaka na siya bukid, that will further trigger formation of red blood cells. Because as the levels of oxygen go down as you go up, the body tends to produce more and more red blood cells. And more importantly, you need to avoid foods rich in iron. So di ka pwede mo kaon og atay, di ka pwede mo kaon og baka, di ka pwede mo kaon og kamunggay, kangkong, any other sources of iron. Nga naman class, because if we deprive ourselves with iron, this will slow down the erythropoietic system. Kay kung daghan kag iron, magpataka ang naghimog dugo imuhang lawas yan, nanubra naman kag dugo. So to slow down this erythropoiesis, we need to deprive ourselves of iron. Okay? So those are the essential concepts we need to know, no? Insofar as polycythemia vera is concerned. And by the way, before I forget, no? Remember, sa polycythemia vera, musaka imuhang red blood cells, WBCs, musaka imong platelet. Kung musaka ang imong WBC, one of the component of your WBC is a basophil. Unsa ganinang basophil, it is responsible for the secretion of histamine. Unsa man ang histamine? Makakos na siya og allergic reaction. So mo nang nagkatul-katul. Ang tao nga naay polycythemia vera, katul. Okay? So remember, a person with polycythemia vera is daghag katul-katul sa lawas. So kung naa kay katul-katul sa lawas, we call that as pruritus. So what should be the proper nursing management to a person with katul-katul or pruritus? Unsa may medication atong ihatag? We block histamine. We give antihistamine. That's one. What kind of shower do we advise? Hot shower or cold shower? Cold shower. Okay? Bugnaw nga tubig ang ikaligo basta naay mga katul-katul sa lawas. And when you pat yourselves dry, you should pat gently. Kay kung imo nang irap, it will trigger an itch. Okay? And lastly, we advise the use of oatmeal lotion or a cocoa butter lotion. Okay? So class, those are the essential concepts we need to know insofar as polycythemia vera is concerned. But wait, there's more. Let's try to answer some questions that had been asked in the past pertaining to polycythemia vera. For example, in 2010, a 66-year-old newly diagnosed with polycythemia vera reports of headache and dizziness. So most likely this is because of the increasing total blood volume, di ba? Kay kung mudaghan ang imuhang blood cells, okay ra imong plasma, inig-add nimo ana total volume mo saka. So meaning to say, the pressure inside will likewise increase. Now, which initial prescription should the nurse anticipate to reduce the immediate risk? Okay? So this is a patient with polycythemia vera. Unsa may mga expect nga atong buhaton to reduce the immediate risk from thrombus formation, no, from hypertensive crisis. Unsa may atong i-expect nga atong ihatag? Do you expect to restrict fluids 1 liter per day? That's wrong. Because in fact, in polycythemia vera, we encourage oral fluids. Do we give iron supplementation? Patay na, no? We deprive a person with polycythemia of iron, ano to? In order to slow down or to suppress the erythropoiesis. You give your aspirin 3 times a day. High dose pag yun. Kung sobra kataas ang imong ihatag nga aspirin, that could bring about tendencies for bleeding. That's why, class, it's never good to give high doses of aspirin. Muhatag mga nitag aspirin, di na high dose. So the best answer should be letter B. Nga naman, phlebotomy. And remember, in phlebotomy, how much blood do we aspirate? 500 ml. How often is that? 1 to 2 times weekly. What is the goal? 45% of hematocrit at least. Okay? Next, 2012. A 66-year-old with polycythemia vera presents for discharge. He has a ruddy facial complexion and reports intense itching after showers. Katol. Oh. Hematocrit DI is 58%. O doon na kayo sa 60%, no? Very diagnostic of polycythemia vera. So what instruction will you include in your teaching? Ingnon mo siya, ma'am, inom og iron, nayabag na. Diba? Deprive lagi na basta polycythemia vera of iron. Warm shower and wipe yourself vigorously. Katul ka ayo. Diba? Murag imong gikaut ang katul. Okay? You trigger the itch. Okay? Restrict fluids. Is that correct? Wrong. Because in a patients with polycythemia vera, you are supposed to encourage oral fluids. And finally, cool bath. So, sa answer na to, class. The answer is letter, letter C. Okay? So that ends our discussion on polycythemia vera. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch my videos. Have a good day.